Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to do an update on our 10-gallon tote bin number 2. So this is the one that I placed a plastic bag inside the tote over the material to try to keep the moisture right above the material itself. We're going to open it up, see how it's doing. It probably needs food since it's been 16 days since my last update, and we'll see how it's going. I'm hoping that this is getting ready to maybe help move over and add more bedding in, because it was kind of low. Only had a couple inches of bedding in there, and I really like to have a little bit more, but I was hoping that we could get it to start moving through food a little faster before I added more bedding to it, because I want them to also consume that bedding, because I want castings at the end. I don't want to just have a lot of bedding material. So let's go and take a look and see how it's doing. Alright, here we are with bin number 2, 10-gallon tote. 3:30 was our last update. Today's 4:15, so 16 days. Flip this over. And not surprising, there's nothing on the top there as far as moisture. Why? Because we've got the bag in here. So let's take this bag off and take a look at it here. So, a little bit of moisture on the bag. Things are drying out, maybe a little bit on there, but it doesn't look too bad. But it's holding that moisture right against the castings. Now, when you flip this over, you can see there's quite a few castings on here. So, I'm going to move this off to the side, trying to be very careful not to have that fall off. And it looks like there's also even a worm on there when I was moving it. And let's dig in here a little bit and see how this is going. As you can tell, we did our feeding in the center last time. So we need to make sure that we continue to move that around. So I'm going to take that off, move that to the, actually I'm going to move this out of the bin right now. Put that on top of the plastic over there. Now let's dig in this center section and take a look. Material's pretty moist. I probably don't need any more moisture in here. Few really large worms. You can really see how large these worms are on here. So you can really see that they're big worms. So that happens when the material is really moist. I find that they tend to get bigger. Oh, look at this at the bottom here. Look at that. They're going nuts for those coffee grounds. And I'm not sure if you can see, but there's also some of their springtails are just popping off of it right now as I move it around. But they really like these coffee grounds now that they're probably breaking down a little bit more. A lot of little tiny worms, as you can see here on my thumb even. There's a worm right there. It's a little tiny worm that's on my thumb. So they're really liking these coffee grounds. I'm going to put that off to the side though. Let's just dig down a little bit more in here. There's some more right here actually. We're on the top side of those coffee grounds probably. Let's just see what else is in here. Oh, quite a bit here on the bottom. So they're really liking this. This material down here. So it's nice and moist, probably good carbon to nitrogen ratio for them as far as, it's not heating up, but there's a good food source. And actually there's a banana peel right here, a banana peel stem. So they're probably going to town on that as well. Let's just move those off to the side as well. Let's just see here. Anything else in here? Nothing over here. Let's just do one little check over here. Nothing over there either. I'm not seeing any cocoons in here. I thought there would be some cocoons, but I'm not seeing any in the material. That's okay. Sometimes they're hard to find. But the material's starting to look pretty good. It's starting to look really broken down. The cardboard is few and far between compared to how it is when you start a bin. So again, on this side over here, there were some more worms that were in the material. They're starting to search around for some food probably as we get a little bit scarce in here, even though we had a big feeding in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to move all this back to the center here. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to put food on this side. And we're going to add quite a bit of food again, because I want to really start getting this going. You can really get these bins going if you can get enough food in here to get the worms really chasing it around. So, we're going to do another digging feeding over here. And this one's going to be a bigger one, but we're going to have some large chunks of food too. So, now this is something I do want to talk about a little bit. This is a piece of broccoli. This is the broccoli stem. My kids don't really care for the broccoli stem. We do give some of it to our dog, but we're not big fans of it. It's a little tough to chew. And this goes into the bin. These are big pieces though that we have here. And I do want to say, this can smell in a bin. You can actually smell this a lot of times. Broccoli does not smell great, but so that can smell. So you do have to be careful adding. I'm adding quite a bit. It might smell a little bit in my basement, but it dissipates pretty quickly, as they work at it. So I'm going to add in banana. We added in some limes right here. So let me just get this banana broken off from the coffee grounds. So we're gonna add some more coffee grounds. As you could tell, they really like those once they got going a little bit. Some more limes. And another piece of banana. I think that's, you know what, just add a few more limes to here as well, because we're gonna try to clear out some of this one container I've got here. I'll make sure to load it up with some a good amount of our crushed crab and eggshell to neutralize any pH issues. I think that's pretty good. Let me grab my, let me take my glove off real quick. I'm gonna add in my crushed crab and eggshell that I add to all my bins. So I'm just gonna sprinkle that on. I'm gonna make sure I get that on the, especially on the lime there. Oop, a little bit more than I wanted right there at the end, but that's okay. It'll get mixed into the bedding material. Just remember, you probably should be wearing a mask when you do this. I'm keeping mine low in the bin when I pour it, and so it's not really coming up in my face, but when I did my garden outside, I made sure to wear a mask, and when I process this stuff, I make sure to wear a mask. Now I'm gonna just cover this up with all this material that I've got. So I'm gonna just kind of move all this over just like this. You're going to break this apart a little bit here too. This feels a little bit solid. Although there's even more worms in here too in these sections. I mean, you can tell the worms are all through the bin really, working on everything that they can find, as they probably were starting to slowly run out of food for the amount that I had in here. So we're going to just pile it up like that. This area is going to sink down. Overall, this bin's doing pretty well. It's starting to come along, and hopefully we'll be ready to harvest soon again. So here we go. Cover that up. This marks the area that we last fed. This is just an old shirt, by the way. These will be eaten and consumed by the worms. They do like those. Now let me take off my glove and let's get that plastic cover back on here. As you can see here, this sheet. Just to turn that back down. There we go. And that'll cover that up. And it looks good. It's a little bit sloped, but that's okay. And let's put our top back on. And that's my update for bin number 2. Overall, it looks pretty good. We just did a large feeding. I'm sure this will last 2 weeks easily, which is about how often I've been trying to update, is every other week. And we'll see how it goes from there. So thank you for watching.